Hello folks, welcome back to the channel. My name is Joel Duggan and we are in Westhill on the Citadel server, Minecraft of course. And we're going to pick up where we left off on Thursday, working on the renovations to the Westhill Keep, which is this area here in the middle of town. And I'm trying to refresh my memory. We were working on the hall, the East Hall, I believe, which is right up here. Can't really see it from down here. You kind of have to get up a little bit higher. Cosmic, good to see you. Kel, Blast, Jordan, Scotsman, Hunter. All familiar faces in chat. Right, I had just finished moving those. The little dormer parts of the roof. Roof is still pretty bland. I kind of wonder whether I should get away with putting some stone ribs on it. That might actually be cool. Because we could line it up. There's a brick there that doesn't need to be there too. We could line it up with maybe each of these ridges, which could be interesting. I'm also not crazy about this tower. I feel like it needs something. It might need to go higher. And we have some better layering happening on the back here on the south side, but not bad. This separates nicely. This separates nicely there. I wonder if we could do more of that kind of like arch layering in along here. Obviously needs some work. We'll have to change the stone type and stuff like that. Still a lot of gradient placement that has to happen. Hope everyone's having a good Saturday so far. I had a fun time this morning hanging out with the folks on the Spunchunks Discord. We do a monthly hangout with all of our patrons. Or the patrons that can make the hangout, I should say, where we talk about what they've been building in Minecraft. Some really cool stuff. Really big builds. Saw sci-fi stuff from Star Wars. There was a big town that Kokorodaki is working on. All kinds of cool things. Oh yes, we had just put in the little tower as well on this side. That's relatively new as well. Obviously not finished yet. I'm undecided if I want to do this kind of like depth detail along the top of the main hall here. It could work. It could work. I don't think this is going to get any taller. Never say never. Master Crunchy subscribing at tier 1, 22 months. Coming up on 2 years soon. That's amazing, Master Crunchy. Thanks very much for the support. It has been a little while. It has been a little while. Good to see you back. So the other things we need to tackle are the roof of the kitchen, the second level to the kitchen. Wouldn't mind changing that chimney to be something dark. There's still quite a lot to do. I really feel like the thing that sticks out to me right now is this. This is not feeling the best. The tower there. Let's go up to the top of the main tower just so we can get a better look. Two wide staircases, so much easier to go up and down. Pro tip. Yeah, this just feels kind of funky to me. I wonder if we should just raise this to the point where this roof here goes underneath the overhang, so it completely separates the two buildings. That's probably the better way to go. I've been streaming for 11 minutes and 42 seconds. Rain? Really? You couldn't wait for a couple hours? I also want to think, I want to throw down the courtyard today, briefly. The dirt is just not doing it for me. I imagine we'll start off with stone bricks and stuff. If we're going to do that, we should take a look at the stone mosaic out here in the parade square. I wouldn't mind using something very similar. I really like the combination of furnace and polished andesite. It really has a 3D effect. These are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's 11 wide. I think the pattern in here is only 9 wide. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. We could still do it though. I like the idea of tying those together. At least thematically. What did we do over here? Similar but different. And more circular. Maybe we combine the two. This kind of a pattern, but with this kind of a palette. That could work. Yeah. Could be fun. We could also try to move some of the flooring in here along the hallway as well. I don't know what material we're going to use in this hallway either. In here it's all heavily andesite. I wonder if we can get away with doing layers in here. It would restrict what we can put against the wall inside here, but it could be kind of fun to have kind of like ridges. Might make it look more structural. Oh, I got that backwards. Oh, this is probably the outside. Yeah. So then this is going to have a ridge on it instead. Which is not bad. I think it's better smooth. Maybe along here we use some polished stones here and there. Try to get a vibe for how this is going to transition from this room to the room that we were working on before. Are these? Oh, it's supposed to be stone. Whoops. Here I was switching it out when it's supposed to be like that. Wonder if we can keep the andesite all on the bottom. Good news is we could really make this corridor whatever we want. We could turn it into wood. A lot of this place is very heavy on the stone though. It's only until you get up to here that there's a lot more wood going on. Potato Man Hip, hello, welcome in. You like the floor. Thanks, Scotsman. Yeah, there's a couple different designs we've got going on. I really like what's going on outside here. But I feel like I could turn this into something that's circular rather than diamond pattern. I feel like that could be handled easily. And I wouldn't mind working a little bit of the smooth stone as well. Like, what do we need for this? Salt, chiseled. Got that stuff around. Needs a roof pig. Everything needs a roof pig. I think maybe the thing to do is to do the floor first and then decide what I'm going to do with the walls. Even that's kind of cool. Right. Yeah, I don't remember. I didn't really leave off anywhere here. I think I liked the color but not the shape of the balcony. And I think I wanted to push it out just a little bit farther too. There's always little things that you want to change and tweak. And I guess we'll go with inside there too. It's probably going to look better if it's not dark on the bottom. Plus, if we do that, we can use trapdoors here. Darker scarlet. It is. Inside, it's basalt. Sorry, polished basalt specifically. Furnace, and then blast furnace. And then out in the parade square, it is furnace, stone and andesite, polished andesite, and then we've got more polished basalt and then chiseled stone. I don't know if this actually has the same effect, but having furnace next to one of these blocks that has the ridges on it, like andesite, is really good. I wonder if polished deep slate would look good that way. I don't think I'd want anything that dark for this particular floor, but it could be fun to mess around with, right? Yeah, basalt can be used in a lot of different ways, which is something I really like about it. Maybe we just go with a couple of these. Right. That may or may not make sense. It's probably going to be better to not use logs in that space. As cool as it looks from a support perspective, it's probably going to be better to go with planks. We can cover up the repetitive texture with some signs. I wish I didn't have to have this ridge of wood underneath it, but that would involve replacing this, I think. Yeah. Well, actually, you know what? If this is where we put the door, it feels weird that the door wouldn't be a little closer here. This is a little bit tight. That still works though. We can turn that into something special, you know? Make sure it looks like a unique block somehow. Because the door there feels way easier to use. I don't want to get into detailing the balcony on the outside until we know what's going to be on the balcony, because sometimes these block spaces with the way that I like to stagger the trapdoors. So right now we can't put anything in these corners. If I really want something there, then I'll bump this out. So I'm not going to decorate the outside. But at the moment we could have, you know, stuff in here like table or chair or flower plant or something, you know. That would actually be something worth remembering, is that while I'm looking at the back of this and thinking like, God, it's just so gray, having a bit of green here with a plant or something would really help. Not much we can do along there. But we could also have some plants like crawl up the wall too. It would be really cool to have something that would kind of like attach here and maybe like hang down a little bit. Some glowberry vines or something. Oh, right. I forgot how ugly the backside of that was. So those are on the crosses. I feel like I can do some better design work on that. So we'll put these where they are elsewhere. That might look okay. We need to hang a lantern up here too. I've done this close by. Yeah, just pretty simple. I did have some dark oak fences in there, or fence gates rather. That might help this space a little bit. I know I did it over here on some of the roofs. The fancier ones. Yeah, there's fences, fence gates. That kind of stuff is cool. That's what I want to do. I want to have like a lantern, more fence gates and trapdoors. More trapdoors, yeah. Signs. Signs are good too. Excuse you. Okay, well, I guess mission 1 is probably move this. That's my... It is bugging me a lot kind of thing right now. So we're gonna increase the height on this. And I like the shape of the other tower better, I think. So if we look at this, it goes 2 blocks and a stair. I want to say 3 blocks and a stair. And this is way more of a pyramid, like it's a little bit more even going up. So I'd like to take that kind of spike and push it a bit because it works very well over there. We'll have to remember to bring all the stuff to put the actual kind of spire on top of it too, because that will help, I think, this place look a little bit fancier. So raise this up and finish up the details on the roof, I think is what we're going to be up to. And then maybe we'll do some flooring. Kind of do a little bit of outside, a little bit of inside. I went the wrong way. I meant to go this way. It's amazing here now, which is cool. I like it, but it's a little bit... Which way am I going? All right, so we're going to need... All the wood I need is upstairs. I think all the stone I need is upstairs as well. I just need more rockets, I think. Yeah. Yep. So I can get rid of a few things here. I don't think we're going to be adding any deep slate. I'm going to bring this upstairs just so we have the basalt. And the furnaces, I think, are in... Oh no, the furnaces are over here. Yep. Cool. We should move all of our little chests as well so that we're not traveling quite so far. I mean, I guess it's good to be inside. But we're going to be working out here. So it's probably going to be better to move everything out here. I'm going to have to move it to try to put the floor down anyway. Oh, probably going to need more stone. More stone first. So today I just discovered something I absolutely want and then discovered that I just can't have it. Final Fantasy XIV has added an axolotl mount to ride around in, except for it's behind the last of the savage content they've added. The most evil, difficult battles yet. Oh man, that's a long way off. I've liked... I was discussing this a little bit on the Hangout this morning. We got in a little bit of a tangent about Star Wars, and after, it was kind of like, it wasn't on the recording, it was kind of like in a little kind of post Hangout chat. We were talking about Elden Ring, because Pixel Riffs is streaming Elden Ring later on. And we were discussing like the comparison of like the Elden Ring experience. He compares it to Dungeons and Dragons, like tabletop. And I was thinking about it in terms of like, how does it compare to MMOs? I miss good MMOs. They're all so grindy or free to play or pay to win stuff. Like, it's just, there doesn't seem to be a really solid space. I'm curious to see what's going to happen with, oh crap, what's the Riot? Riot's working on the League of Legends MMO, but that's years away. We dabbled in, what was it? Guild Wars 2 this fall during the 10-year anniversary. It was fun for a little bit, but the story just gets gated behind longer and longer grindy content. And at least with WoW, your stories would continue. And with Guild Wars, it really felt like a game. It didn't feel like an immersive world. Like, it just felt that, oh, hey, you've just walked into a zone. Here are all the stories for the zone. Even though you've not talked to anybody, your little to-do list, your digital window to-do list would just tell you what to do next. And I didn't like that about it. I felt like I was being ushered to the content rather than discovering the content, you know? And I think that's one of the things that's getting overlooked in MMOs these days. There's a lot of stuff in there. Is the idea of exploration and discovery. I feel like there's an awful lot of pressure from gamers who think they know what they want. And so developers are like putting all this stuff out there that's just like quick ways to get the game going, but MMOs are, in my opinion, supposed to be a much different pace. Let's let's set up here. Why not? Actually, what would be really cool to save me on some floor space. Did I bring my deep slate box? Maybe I didn't. Some of this stuff doesn't need to stay out. The deep slate I can actually put in the deep slate box if it'll fit. Workstation complete. All right, so we're gonna need a decent amount of trapdoors, slabs, whole blocks. We'll take some stripped as well. We're gonna need stone bricks, stone, wouldn't mind seeing what a lip would look like around that tower. Don't need the glass right now. So I've got all the things I need. A little bit of iron. Andesite wall, I think, is what we put up there. Fence posts, right. So we need fence posts, fence gates, maybe some signs. I don't tend to use signs on these things because they're too high up and they don't render in. Oh, it's just trapdoors. I think I have those. Yeah. I think that's us good. I don't think we even need those. We'll try them. Who knows? The Black Sheep. Hey, stranger. Subscribing with Prime. 13 months. Lucky 13. Thanks very much. Hope you're doing well. Do you like games like City Skylines? Wondersim, yes. I dabble in City Skylines. I find I get stuck with it, and I find that City Skylines, the way that the mechanics work in that game, they force you to build a certain way. Like it's not very creative. I find it very formulaic, which is what I don't like about it. That's why I lean towards Satisfactory more than games like City Skylines. What's the other one that we tried a little while ago, and I liked it, but the camera movement made me seasick. It was Before We Leave, I think was what it was called. That was fun. Industry of Titan is something I'm very interested in as well, but that game has an attack mechanic where like there's bad guys that will come in and attack your city, and I'm not 100% on board with that. Like, that's not my favorite thing, you know. That's why I like Satisfactory, is that unlike Factorio, there was no... Whoa, that's one way to go down. Unlike Factorio, there in Satisfactory, there's nothing attacking you. See aforementioned maze. I do like City Skylines, and I get trapped into playing it once in a while for like a couple hours. I like the order of it. Like, I like the, you know, everything's in a straight line, like that kind of stuff. But I don't find it, I just find it a lot of rinse and repeat, you know? I'm glad I changed the efficiency on this axe. Final Fantasy XIV has both here is the next thing in the main storyline, and here is a billion other storylines you can follow visible on the map if you want them for options, which I like. Just haven't had the urge to play for a while. So, but using a map where it says like, you know, this is a village that's under attack, or like that kind of stuff, that's fine. You know, it was an on-screen to-do list. It was like a task manager in Guild Wars 2 that popped up on screen that I didn't like. I am raining my favorite things all over the place here. Yeah, I don't mind it when there's like something on the map that works, but I find too, like with game design, I get very picky because there's no excuse. You know, there are several games out there that do it well. They know how to do it. They know how to do a map. They know how to do a quest chain from NPCs. And for whatever reason, people seem like they want to rock the boat. You know, like they do it to be different without much thought behind, is this a good mechanic? Is it fun? Is it tedious? Does it drive people crazy? And all that stuff. Okay, so really we need to get this at least 3 blocks higher, would be my guess. I'll worry about windows later. Temporarily remove this. Give ourselves a way up. One of the very few uses for scaffolding that I actually do really enjoy is using it to support your roofs as you build them. That's going to go into the corner like that. I think that's enough space. If we then have that old trim that I had there, and that was... Ooh, maybe we can change this. I wonder what this would look like if we had a different top to it. Oh, that has to be a certain height though. No, wait a minute. I know what I'm talking about. I think I'm getting at something like this. I found SimCity much more charming, but we all know what happened to that game, unfortunately. We don't all know? I used to play SimCity when I was a kid. It's been a long time since I've heard that. The fun factor in games is often overlooked by game designers. That's why I love boss fights in games. Can't be too brutal. Don't love boss fights in games. I'm the same way. That's one of the reasons why I didn't enjoy or pursue Minecraft dungeons beyond just the initial release, because I couldn't beat the first boss. Like I couldn't beat the Arch Illager, and I didn't like being pushed off the edge randomly and losing. I'm just like, well, that doesn't affect, like, it doesn't matter how good I am. It doesn't matter what my loadout is. If I'm just pushed off randomly, then I can't win. Like, you know, I don't have a fighting chance. I did not find that fun at all. So here, I was thinking we could do this maybe. Probably facing the wrong way. Oh, what happened there? Oh, right. There we go. This might have to be higher. Yeah. It might not look good at all. It's not terrible. I mean, that stone bit is the wrong way. Just for curiosity, if we change this to be white blocks instead, a way to kind of add a little bit of color and tone to this place. You played SimCity for a while, or City Skylines? Which one? Blast Jordan. It has promise. It's a nice concept. Which does? SimCity? Or City Skylines? City Skylines 2 is coming. I'm curious about that. I just don't know if this works. I guess what would happen here is that this would continue to there. But that doesn't make any sense, because then this feels like it ends quite abruptly. So I've got a couple of ideas. One of them is to change this all to bone block. And the other is to increase the diameter of this as it gets higher. So maybe we can try this on 2 sides. But out here, no idea if this is going to work. Oh, the tower has promise. Thanks. That does change the shape of it drastically when we increase the diameter, doesn't it? Do we like that? I find as a streamer I use the royal we a lot to try and sound inclusive, but I really am curious about what you guys think. There's lots of white in bone block dotted around. I feel like that could be really cool. I like that it's taller now, regardless of the color. I honestly think it has to change color to be able to be seen beyond the big tower there, and I think it has to be a little bit taller too. All right, one last look at the fat tower. And then let's try to go with the skinny one. And I'm going to go up by 2 blocks. And then the slabs were in the middle. I'm trying not to like copy stuff I've done before, but I feel like there'd be certainly ways to help tie designs in the city together. Hopefully that's not too tall. Oh, I don't think my elytra even opened at that point. The white is nice, as a nice nod to other builds in the area. Fits the city really nicely. Thanks. I think it needs some sort of color shift. I think I like the skinny tower better. I don't think the big one really matched what we have going on. Using the white anchors in it into the rest of the city, it's good reuse, and as you say, helps to be seen. I'd be tempted to go another 3 blocks higher before getting fatter to give it an extra height than indeed from outside the wall. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to go with the fatter side of it. I think I'm going to go with something more like that. And this ridge here, we could break up the stone with some spruce as well. Yeah, elytra not opening for some reason. I don't know why. I think that's enough there. Like, I feel like that's a nice clear distance. I'll get closer and see what it looks like. Yeah, the 2 MMOs that I have the most experience with are World of Warcraft, which I played for a very long time, and I should say played casually for a very long time, and WildStar. I really missed WildStar. WildStar was really fun. Yeah, this needs to be beefier up top, obviously. We'll have to add some sort of like window sills or something. I don't know if this is the best way to make this skinnier. The other one isn't something that changes from being heavier to skinnier. It's just skinny the whole way up. We just add some beef at the very end, so we have to figure out a way to transition this. I guess we could do the opposite. We could have some walls on top of that. That could help. I just want to make sure that the ridges work with the roof where they are, or whether I have to lower them. Like this feels a little bit too convenient maybe. I guess this whole thing could be only on 3 sides, right? If I was to continue the roof shape, we can get rid of these things altogether. So rather than having this secondary roof here, I could just continue that roof to about halfway. Although it looks better if it lines up. Oh no, I could continue it to there. That could look simpler. We'll see. That's not terrible. I kind of like that it has that nice profile there. We might want to change that to something a little bit less slanted there, but I like the idea of it being a little bit more asymmetrical. Although it might remove some of the height. It does sort of look like a church too. Getting wider makes some sense for houses, but on towers I often have to think of water towers, not medieval castles. Yeah, usually, and there's a weight issue too. I mean, it depends on how you headcanon your builds, but yeah, like it wouldn't. Typically, you'd want a bigger base than a top, just from a support perspective, right? Well, I'm not seeing any reason to like remove the ridge from the other sides. And I guess we can just go up with this build. It's 2 and then this. That used trapdoors. 1, 2, 3. Sometimes I wish that stairs got placed the same as trapdoors, so you could look at them from a specific direction rather than the way that the player was facing. Like trapdoors, it's what you place, what face you point at. With stairs, it's what face you point at, but then also what direction you face, and I find that that's tricky sometimes. It's one of those back up and look episodes, I think. Ooh, that's tall. That helps with the importance, I think. I was struggling to make the keep feel more important than the other buildings around it. And I know that I think we weren't able to see the keep very much, if at all, from the east gate. Now we can, technically. So that's good. A burp stream. Backup and review platform. Yeah, I don't think that that's a problem. I think that having this ridge is a nice contrast against the roof. It breaks up this very solid block of dark oak. So for folks that have been asking about, like, do I give tours? Not really, but like, and that hasn't been asked today, but previously on streams it has been. And a lot of the time, this is what it is. It's me getting farther back from some builds, and you get to like see a lot of the finished areas as I walk around and look at some builds from afar. That's really quite high, and I'm worried it's going to be overbearing on the build next to it. Wonder how far away we can see it. All right, on. It's kind of hidden behind the main gate, which is too tall. I need to, I think the main gate might actually get pulled down. I might take like this kind of a thing and push it into this space and remove that space altogether. Well, you can see it back there. I wonder if this is actually taller than the tower of the mansion. It might be, you know. The only thing about this that's a little bit concerning is the complete change in shape design from the more blocky, like this kind of stuff. So I don't know if I want to quite go that way with it. I wonder if that was a solid stone tower, if that would look cool. Like go up that high, but have it be like this kind of a thing. So the problem with how long it takes to do stuff like this in Minecraft is that it takes a long time in survival to go back and forth. Time to back up and review. Break time when you're ready. Thanks very much, Cosmic. Appreciate the reminder. It is cool to see that point from here. But you see what I mean? Where like you've got all these flat tops and then this very spiky thing. Even the roof here is not overly pitched. And it's an older build. I think it still looks the best for its purpose, but I kind of feel like we could do... I might have to pull this down a little bit. It might be just a little bit too tall. Like maybe just removing one block there and maybe one block up here. Either way, something I can tackle after the break. For folks that are new to the channel, I do take a break once an hour. Just gives me a chance to zap the coffee, keep it warm, gives you a chance to grab a friend, bring them on in. We are always trying to grow the channel. And also make sure you take a break too. But thanks for hanging out. We'll be back with more, I don't know, building, planning, quotation marks, whatever we're doing. We're going to do more of that when I get back. back to height testing. Oh, wrong way. Also wrong way. I always forget about this door. Alright, let's take a chunk of this down. And one of the things we can do that's nice actually is we can build a similar but different height on the other side. So we'll take off one there, and then we'll take off another one here at the top. And I'll get rid of these. Without destroying the other side, we'll just readjust. So this would be a slightly lower pitch to it. It's still very pointy. Again, Elytra, please. My ankles request that you open up when I want you to. So that's with the lower steeple, lower spire. Steeple, I guess, is technically a church, but I think that's more in line with what we see elsewhere. It feels a little bit better. Now, if I did the same thing over on this other roof, which I think I have. One, two, 1, 2. I think that's what I did. No, it's 3. Oh no, 1, yeah, 2 blocks and a stair. That's 3. 2 blocks and a stair. Difference over here. 2 blocks and a stair. Right, so that's right, 2 blocks and a stair. Maybe this one should be shorter. Scaffolding also helps you count the blocks too. All right, so one last thing to check, and that is if we wanted to do this as a giant square tower, would it work? Wouldn't have to be quite as tall, though. The height of it would most likely be dictated by the staircase and how that worked out. Bone blocks and dark oak. You're right, Cosmic. It looks very good. It looks very, very good. That's hard to imagine, but I like the brutalist idea of it. Oh, that's tempting. I kind of want to try this. Oh, that could be really cool. Especially if we didn't bring it in. Outcast01, thanks very much for the raid. Appreciate it. Hope you're having a great day. Hi, my name is Techie. Welcome in. Thanks for saying hello. Would you do so with your name? Oh, that's not going to help me. You get really confident at endgame when you've got netherite boots. You really can move around without too much worry. You've had that name for almost 10 years. That's awesome. I've had my name for a lot longer than 10. 1, 2, 3. Didn't bring the right top block with me, but that could do. And if I just kind of quickly take these off. This is why I only work in framing until I know I've got something where I want it. Nothing like going from an endgame server to being brand new day one in Minecraft and forgetting. Happens to end badly quite often. Oh yeah, I can see that. There is a much different look. Have all the height and importance. I kind of like it. I don't know about the crown going out. I kind of want to keep it a little bit more static. It's a little bit tall. We could make it a little bit less tall. What do we think? Mostly landscaping in Minecraft today. Very cool. Again, thanks so much, Outcast01, for sharing your viewers. It might be a little bit too tall. There's something that's missing from this is some asymmetry in the height, but also like it needs to be more imposing. I think I've gotten a little bit too fancy with the roofs. It does draw the eye, giving it a destination, yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't want to make it too much shorter, maybe just a block or two. The main thing would be like how the stairs get up there. Would kind of define how tall I want to make it. The only other thing I want to try is without the crown bit on it. That, or we make the crown bit longer. But like if we just, instead of having it all out here, if we just did it all in the middle here. So it was a very straight structure. One, two, three, four, five. Does not quite have the same impact when you make it straight like that. I think it would have to be 7 by 7 if you wanted it to stay straight. Without the extra kind of crown on it. We might be able to do something similar to this where we have like the sides go down longer. We haven't checked the south yet either. What does it look like from the south? But I think after all that work on the roof, I think I kind of want to do this because then you really see it, right? You see the full stone structure from the side. Be able to see it from everywhere, I'd imagine. I'm cool with this still being the tallest structure. But I like the idea that the keep was the tallest structure at one point or another, right? Surprisingly, you can't see it from over here. Wow. Oh, just the top of it. Huh. I guess we're so far down here. Let's check south. Whoa. Thread the needle. Thanks for the lurk, Cosmic. Appreciate it. Oh, holy smoke. Wow, yeah, that really feels substantial, doesn't it? I like that. I think it looks better from this angle without the crown part on it. I mean, the good news is the crown thing is something we can add. This kind of crown stuff, we can add that and take it away very easily. It's not something that really has to be there, but it all feels very keep-like, you know? I guess we have it down here too, so it's not like it's just happening on the keep. There's also that. We don't have to do the great big crown. We can kind of like do a faux, make it look skinnier with andesite walls at the top. That's something we can try too. All right, that looks like a good height from this angle. I'm a little concerned that it's too tall from the front. But if I was going to drop it by block, how far would I drop it? I would say at most, I'd say just a block. I'd say just one block would be all it would need to come down. I feel like I'm just leapfrogging over the town. One rocket, just leap the whole thing like Superman. But I don't know, I feel like one block lower down here might not be as cool. Right, either way, we're going to take down the bone and we're going to see what this looks like going all the way up. Which will probably remove the ridge as well, but we'll see. I don't think I have enough stone for this. No, I don't. This might make it look less like a church too, this section. Man, it's really starting to get warm in the afternoons now in the studio. I really don't want to have to start turning on the AC before June. I mean, I know it's almost June now, but like, even before July, it would be nice not to have to turn on the AC. The power rates in the province have gone up, which is not. I mean, everything's gone up, but they say hey, the rates are going to go up in February, but then you don't see it until like your next bill. Because of the way that they bill every 2 months. And it's not crazy. Like, it's still, I'm certainly not straining to pay power bills or anything like that. But there's just a certain, I don't know, you get used to what something costs, you know? And then when it changes dramatically for, you know, reasons that they don't really give you, you're like, well, but what have you done to improve? We still lose power whenever Mother Nature sneezes. So, like, I don't know, what are we paying for, you know? So it's one of those things. I find it's the same thing with, am I really that low on stone? I might have to go get some stone. It's one of those things where I think I've been mentioning here and there on streams that I am trying to reach a goal of buying a home and starting the education process of like what I like, what I don't like, you know, is the kitchen nice, like that kind of stuff. And, you know, you instinctively have a pretty good idea of like what you like and what you want in a home. But then there's price tags attached to all of that. And when you look at stuff, you're like, yeah, that's cool, but it's not worth like the X amount of thousands of dollars, the difference between one place and another. And you're like, you know, there's a certain level where I'm just like, I'm not paying that. It doesn't matter how nice the house is. I'm not paying that. And also I find too, because I've always been frugal, responsible, I've never really indulged in any kind of excess. I've never been my lifestyle. So I'm not looking for a ginormous, you know, place. I'm looking for a really straightforward, just, you know, place to hang my hat, you know, maybe get a dog. I say maybe, absolutely get a dog. But it's one of those things where you're just kind of like, it's, you realize, you know, what the market is like, and you're like, this is just, there's no way I'm paying that for a house. And then you see other price tags, you're like, yeah, that's totally worth it, because like it aligns with what you want to do or what you're envisioning for the build, or for not for the build, for the, you know, for what you want to do with it. I'm gonna leave that like that for now and just kind of see. I wanted to take one, I think it was one block off the top. I'm gonna get the proper blocks here too. Local power company says Outcast01 wants to change how they charge people based off income rather than kilowatt rate. That's bizarre. I see. I think that's how taxes should work, but not how you're providing a service. It costs X. I could see charging people more over a certain amount of kilowatt hours. Like if you're consuming power like a crazy person, then I can say like, yeah, sure. So I'm going to drop this by a block on one side and not the other, just to see. I'm curious whether one block makes a difference. You know, I guess we have to kind of do one block at a time, don't we? Is that me taking it down by a block? I think so. Fill that in there. Complete the pattern. It's quite the view from up there too, which could be a good thing to add to the town as well. So a lot of the times our tall towers, they just have the singular windows, which means your view is very defined. Whereas if we have a really tall structure in the town where it's an open top to the tower, I think that that could be a really nice thing to add. Just thought of something, says SweetSandi. Is there a difference between the towers of private houses and defense building in Westhill? Not really. Some of the defense towers have got roofs on them. Some of them are just walls. Some of them have the little crowning thing on them. Some of them don't. It all depends on how much attention I wanted to draw. So that's something that goes back to, like, you know, what I was talking about with on like depth and detail on the spawn chunks. Like, for example, like you immediately see this depth and detail, and then you see this depth and detail here. So like this is the barracks. You kind of I wanted to showcase that. The rest of the wall is pretty plain until you get to either the towers or the bridge, and then it becomes interesting here. And then again, more depth and detail on the actual bridge. And then this way, same thing. Depth and detail on the other bridge. Towers are pretty plain. Depth and detail on the main gate. So there's no real, I guess, rule. So I think that's lower by a block. I don't know if it has. It's funny how 1 meter makes a bit of a difference, eh? It doesn't feel quite as powerful. And a lot of that could change if we go up the stairs inside and they just kind of come out the wrong spot, then I'll probably change it. Yeah, you know, I think I want it to be a block taller. It felt too tall, but that feels too short. Easy fix. In the meantime, I want to put the stairs in. We'll grab some spruce. I think I like this better than the pointy roof. So these are the stairs. They start here and they go up and they get us out to this space. So from here, they would curve this way. Might as well get rid of the rest of this dark oak. We know we're not keeping it. So I'm really hoping that this is going to take me up and have me come out at facing an important direction. It's really difficult to plan these things out. You really have to have really solid math and spatial skills. Oh, I think that's pretty good. Oh no, this has to be a block taller. So this is going to curve around and face the back way. I kind of wanted to come out facing this way. And slabs. And then this would actually come up. I guess we could always just end in a room at the top and then use like a ladder to get up to a point wherever we wanted. Because if we do the ladder, then that means more of this can be platform to stand on. Yeah, I feel like you'd want to be able to see out that way, although you'd want to be taller too. Actually, if we make the whole thing one level. Question from Trailblazer95. Hey Joel, have you ever considered doing a Minecraft building design YouTube series? I think it would be really helpful. Thanks. I appreciate the compliment. I have not really gotten into any YouTube design edited videos. They end up taking just so much time that I've not done it. I've done some build exploration stuff here on stream when like new building parts come available. Yeah, like that's a cool view. I wonder if we give ourselves like an extra twist down here, if it would work out in the end. So rather than starting the stairs right there, if we rotate around, we could probably... Oh no, because then that gets too low here. I would put a stair there. It gets really touch and go. Well, we could change the platform to be this tall and then take that around. Just to kind of, or we could just get ourselves over the door. And then from here we could make like another platform, especially if there was going to be windows at a certain level. That would actually make sense. So I think I can reverse corkscrew the stairs to get where I wanted to be. Thank you, Sandy, for highlighting the message that I missed from Trailblazer. And yeah, like I haven't really thought about it. There's a lot of involved, and the thing with stuff like that, the problem that I find with that is I'd have to find a way to do it to say, not do the kind of building tutorial that say like Mythical Sausage does, because like there's already people out there that I would consider better builders than me that are doing that kind of thing. But I think what they end up doing is like a step-by-step on how to build that blacksmith. And so then that blacksmith just ends up being everywhere. You know, people just copy it. And so what I'd like to do is, if I was to do something like that, I would probably do something more along the lines of what I did with the Spawn Chunks podcast, where we talked about art and proportions and all that kind of stuff recently. I feel like that could be useful for people. Oh, that's the floor. Thought I had more spruce on me, but I guess I don't. Well, thanks, Trailblazer. I'm glad that you liked that content on the Spawn Chunks. It was fun to do. It was fun to talk about. I mean, it's something I forget sometimes I have that knowledge, you know? One of the things that I think has been an adjustment for me has been the shift from being a full-time artist to a full-time content creator. And there's a little bit of imposter syndrome that I think comes with like what people perceive as like playing video games for a living, which is not what I do. You know, like there's a lot of creation and being articulate and entertainment, and the podcasting is also about half of what I do, and that there's a lot of research and prep, and you know, there's editing behind the scenes. And I think that's the biggest thing that I had trouble with when I did any recorded, edited YouTube content. I just don't have the following on YouTube. I'm so far behind. I missed that giant ship when it was sailing. And it's so hard to build a YouTube channel in the Minecraft space from scratch starting now. I mean, my main YouTube channel has like 2,500 subs. And it has enough subs, but not enough watch time to charge any advertising revenue. And then the opposite is true of the Joel Duggan VODs YouTube channel. The Joel Duggan VODs YouTube channel has more than enough watch time, which is amazing. People have been watching the VODs and enjoying them, which is just, it's strictly what you're watching now. Like it's not edited. The breaks are still in there. Like I just take the VOD from Twitch and I post it. And the thing about that is like I just don't have the time to do the editing. Doesn't balance out because it doesn't earn me any support. Whereas I could take the 3 to 5 hours that I would take to edit a YouTube video or more and do 2 or 3 streams and be able to support myself, right? So like streaming is a more direct way to do this professionally. I get it though. Like I understand that I'm missing out on a huge platform on YouTube, but like it's hard to justify trying to grow a channel from 2,500 subs, you know? And I know that there are people that, I think a couple of the hermits, they do their streaming and then they record their clips. Like they basically say, oh, right, chat, I'm going to do a clip recording now. And they ignore chat and they just hit record with OBS and they do a clip. And my computer just can't do it. Well, I've tried time and again. It's clunky. I get really poor frame rates in the recording, and it makes a lot of headaches for me in the long run. So it's not something that I've really considered. So I shouldn't say I've considered it. I can't make it work. And then for all the other reasons I just mentioned, you know, the problem with starting from scratch and just not being enough people supporting for it to be worth the time in. And I know that everybody's going to start somewhere, but I've already established so much of what's happening on Twitch that this is definitely where I spend most of my time. And I mean, I'm open to feedback on that too. You know, like if people are like, Joel, like I would totally watch edited YouTube videos, and like the problem again is like if I can monetize it, if I can make it a good business decision, because I think that's where a lot of people end up not doing as well on some of their social media platforms or content creation platforms. Is like I've always approached this as a business because I was an older streamer kind of getting into this and had, you know, 15 or 20 years of running my own illustration business at home, 10 plus years of podcasting experience. That feels very Keep like. I do feel like we may want to add the crown piece to the top of it. I'm going to try something and see what it looks like. But I like the taller tower. It's a really delicate balance between being like that 1 meter makes a huge difference. It's so surprising. Yeah. It goes from look at me to like, what part of the structure am I? All right, let's try this top part here. So if I was to do this and I wanted this to be longer, I don't want to copy that per se, but we want, that's going to be there. There's going to be a block underneath that. It's not right. Now here, I want to go down 2, I think. Yes, not there. That has to be that. And then, there we go. No, that's not right. Where is it? Yeah, that's right. I'm going to do this for half. See if we like the difference. Moment of truth. Chunk Purse. That is a unique username. Welcome in. I clicked so quick if I saw a YouTube video with this build as a thumbnail. Well, there's all kinds of builds, like YouTube videos of this as a thumbnail. Right? Go to Joel Duggan VODs on YouTube channel. There's just tons of videos with this town as a thumbnail. If you had the time to watch the YouTube edited videos, the Twitch streams have been great for all the games in Lego. Thanks, MindTripMedia. I see. The thing is, I definitely have. The problem is, I don't have the time, like professionally, to spend like the 6 to 8 or 12 hours building something in Minecraft completely on my own, like recording, but like in a silo. So I do the streams, and the streams are, but there was a little while, if you go to Joel Duggan on YouTube there are maybe a dozen videos at the end of that run, episodes 70 through 83 maybe. And those are edited streams. I would take the 3-hour VOD and I would chop it up into 2, maybe 3 videos. But that took a long time. You're essentially watching the entire 3-hour VOD back and editing it live, which is way longer and more intensive than editing together 15 to 20, a bunch of 5-minute clips into a single episode. Oh, that's tough, man. It definitely feels evil. It feels like an evil helmet. I don't know if I like that or not. We could also pull this middle one down as well and have it be a little bit more beefy. And for anybody here that's listening, I mean, like, there's a good 40 or 50 of you in chat today. If you have not already subscribed to Joel Duggan VODs, please do. It's free. The videos come out a few days after we're live here on Twitch, usually. There's also satisfactory videos. There's playlists. So if you're only interested in Minecraft, you can totally just click on the Citadel playlist for 2023 and you're good. You don't have to deal with anything else. You can just watch whatever you want. But the thing about it is that we only need to get to 1,000 subscribers before I can start getting a little bit of ad revenue from that channel. And we're at like 800. So, if you haven't already, if you wouldn't mind hitting that sub button. I don't stream on YouTube and I don't make any kind of premiere videos. I just kind of use it as a VOD archive. As cool and as simple as the straight structure is, I feel like we may want to go with this extra bit. The only other thing we haven't tried is the andesite top part, which we could do here. Time to sleep, it looks like. Not sure if it needs a chunky top, but it needs something. Yeah, I know what you mean. So if we do that, I don't think I'm going to have the little short one. I think I'm going to have all of them be tall. So I'll fix that now before we fly away. It just, again, like, it's one of those things, like, once you see the, like, Sauron helmet of doom, you're like, that's not really what I want. Sometimes the cartoonist in me, as an illustrator and cartoonist for most of my life, you just see faces and shapes and helmets and heads and things that you don't intend to. And do I have any slabs on me? Don't. Not the right kind of slabs. Yeah, so it needs some extra help underneath the edges there. And it's either going to be walls or stairs or slabs, one of the two. So stair, slab, or andesite wall. That might even look more like a face. I actually think I like this better. I don't know. It really kind of takes away from the height of it by having this great big beefy top thing. There's lots of art that I use for inspiration. They absolutely don't do that at the top. They're just straight towers, like just square. But probably more effective if it was like a 7x7, which I don't think we have room to do. That's 5x5. I could. Yeah, I can't come out to that corner, I don't think. Or not that I can't. I just would rather not. We could do here, no problem. That's kind of cool, using the walls to give it kind of like a change at the top. Did it over there too. Could you put walls in the top corners? Oh yeah, I could do that too. It's not that this is too chunky. It's just the wide part of it to me feels strange. I'm not sure about these edges either, if we're going to have this top on it. The reason why these stone edges work so well usually is because there's this cap that cuts them off. So you can see over here, like these edges work really well when you've got something to stop them. But then in places where I don't use them, like here, it's just a nice smooth transition, which works because, you know, I mean, it still works here, but you know, there's a couple spots where we might even want to change that on purpose, like have most of the keep have these things, which is true, I think, of the front towers as well. Yeah. And if we came one more over, instead of going out, if we expanded it this way by 1 and that way by 1, I mean, the roof would be a little bit strange. That's really tempting. We'd have to come up with some other way to do this door. But I think all we would do there is just expand the wall a little bit. I'm curious now. That's only 6x6. Could we go? We could go a block in the other direction. Definitely more fun to go up wider staircases, that's for sure. If we go a block in the other direction, we're going to have to move that chimney. Yeah, expanding it this way would be fine. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can go 6 there. Can I go 7 out this way? But no, but then I'd have to go 2 in this direction. I don't know if I want to do a 6x6 tower either, because that makes the top of it really tricky to deal with. I'm not even sure how I would do the top of that. There were some towers in some concept art that I saw that had a different kind of layout. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that was the top in a 6x6. That could be worth exploring, you know? Would certainly make it look more unique and special. Might need more coffee, says Sandy. That's true. That's true. That's always true. I'm not sure about anybody else, but I've not had a really good sleep schedule since the pandemic started years ago. I think it was okay for a while, but somewhere around halfway through, everything just kind of got really out of whack. That could be really cool looking, and we wouldn't have to expand it nearly as far as previously thought. And it would keep the importance of it going. That might not look so good, but I kind of want to try that now. It's one of those days. It is one of those days. We need to take a break, though. I want to stay on schedule. Did I get sick? No. No, I didn't get sick. I knock on wood, I have not been sick in 4 or 5 years. Allergies, but not sick. If you're new to the channel, folks, I take a break once an hour. SweetSandi has been kind enough to remind me to do that. You should too. Stand up, grab a stretch, grab a friend. We're always trying to grow the channel. Make sure you let them know we're live and to come and hang out. I'll be back in 5 or 6 minutes. So I think we are going to try this 6 wide, the forbidden even number tower, and see what we can make of it. I'm probably going to need more stone, though. I don't know if I have any more in the barn or not. Even number, it will be cursed. He's going even. How odd. Yeah, right. I mean, Scotsman, you've got a lot of builds in your area. Have you done any even numbered things, or are they all odd numbers? Lots of grass and dirt. Does not look like I kept a lot of stone. Nope. Okay. Well, before we go all that way for more stone, let's just do a quick test here. So if we were to expand this by 1 block in either direction, I could go out here by 1. That would take the corner to there. Because then I don't have to mess around with any of the connective stuff in here, right? If we go this direction, kind of like at a 45-degree angle, out this way by 1. Oh, that affects this wall too. Right. Because this has got this nice little symmetric part there. So maybe we do have to go towards the hall. Then that messes up the symmetry on this side too. Changing things you built years ago. Always a tricky situation. Hmm. I mean, if we did that, I could probably change. That would get chopped there. We could change this to be even instead of odd. And that would still work. So instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, there'd just be 4 of them. It's a little wide. That might actually be worth it. All right, let's just see. So the direction that we would go would be out this way. And I think one issue that I shouldn't really have a problem with is the alleyway down at the very bottom that I keep on walking through, and this will narrow it a little bit. Like, I'm not even sure if that's, like, I'm not keeping that entrance to the keep, you know, where my storage room is. That's not part of the plan. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that is the new 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is not here. Try something a little bit different. Better views, right? less 360 view. Although it really doesn't matter. If you go up by a slab, you still can't see over it. So it's either just the one block or none at all. I kind of like that. The whole purpose of this is just to give a really nice view. I might try to do that thing where you can make your own animated starting screen, you know? Because I don't particularly like the current starting screen that they have for 1.20. If I finish this, it would be kind of nice to have like my own panorama. That's what it's called? Yeah. Oh, am I missing stairs now? Totally missing stairs. I guess it doesn't really matter for this side. Let's do the sides that we see more of, I guess. I'm sure there's also stairs slowly despawning at the bottom. So that's a little bit funny. Not my favorite. Don't know what else we could do. Yeah. Alright, and then if we still have enough stone, just enough, we could put in the potential edges. There's all the stairs that I need. And then we'll just go up from the bottom, I guess. So that would be right here. That's not the end of the world for this alley. I prefer if it didn't do that, but it's not like gonna make or break my design choices. Most of your builds are odd, Scotsman? Yeah, mine are too. Every now and again I work in an even number, but moment of truth. Oh, I like the wider tower. I mean, obviously it still has some weird kind of bits in it, but I feel like that takes it from being a skinny, weird thing to a more interesting, beefy looking tower. I don't know about the stone bricks on the side. We might want to stay with stone. Yeah, that looks cool. And that's what I mean. Like, if we have the bricks, then transitioning to that is going to be very difficult. We could still use that wall trick that I was doing on the other side, too. I only work in evens if I want a wall with glazed terracotta. Yeah, no, that makes sense. That, yep, I've done that before, too. Or what I've done with glazed terracotta is that I create a floor pattern that works for 3s. I'll show you actually. I've got one in the the mansion. There's another one in the modern city too, where we made like a Starbucks kind of looking place, and I used the terracotta on the wall for that like random, you know, pop art that they have in Starbucks. Yeah, we're gonna have to go get some stone. So here's an example of glazed terracotta mixed with other things, but it's a 5-wide build, right? It's odd this way too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh no, it isn't. So it's 10, right? Because of the terracotta. But then it's 9, or it's 5 wide to give us like a kind of a carpet vibe. Yep, I like the beefier tower. I've just made a lot more work for myself. It overlaps this nicely too. So that won't affect the chimney? No. This just comes out to here. That's if we keep this stone on the side. It's going to change the inside quite a bit too. Because the stair is going to run a little bit differently now. Well, I guess I say that. We don't have to run the stairs differently. We can keep the stairs exactly as they are. If we want to just have like a thicker wall. Oh, am I getting into the andesite? No. That's one way we can save on some stone too. Is not go too far down. Of course, any windows we wanted to put in this are now going to be interesting. We could make the slot windows rather than the big 1-wide windows, because the stairs will be the good way to do it. But unfortunately, any window we have that's a full-size window would just be whoop, that's a long way down. It would be off center, right? I guess we could have a 2-wide staircase going up here, which could be way more comfortable. There's definitely times where I think, you know, I should have set up a beacon near this town, but I'd have to turn it off every time I want to take a screenshot. So I just never bothered. Thanks, WanderSim. Hope you're having a good day. There's some andesite I may or may not want to get rid of. Looks like it was on purpose. Oh, well, wait a minute. I guess we just copy it out. Do I not have enough? I don't have enough. Well, I think I have to go get some more stone either way. I don't think I have any in here. Tucked away anywhere special. I would say no. Alright, well, we're going to bring at least another shulker. Ah, yes, the fall command. To what I blame for that existing because I ended up adding one of my own. I don't know if I came up with that or whether that was something I saw on someone else's stream. I don't remember. Here on this stream, it originated because McScrewgunn, for whatever reason, gets a kick out of it when I fall. It happened. It was less of a Minecraft thing, more of a a Satisfactory thing. Because Satisfactory, you very often you're looking at stuff and you back up and you just slip right off of something. There's something about the perspective in Satisfactory that's very tricky. We're going to have to take a little bit of a walk so I can go get some more stone. My inventory was kind of painfully full anyway. So we're good for bricks. We did okay. Keeping those up to be in stock, I guess. But I'll take 2 shulker boxes and we'll go get 2 shulkers worth of stone. I mean, maybe I should get a little bit more, but I think 2 shulkers full should be fine. That's going to look really cool as we walk away here. It's, the exposed staircase is going to look like one of those architecture cutaway drawings. Neat. And that's why you get dizzy when you go up stairs like that in towers in Minecraft. I brought a random stair with me as well for some reason. The authentic, rainy, medieval experience. I don't know how often I mention this. I just kind of get to the portals and don't mention it a lot when we go for a little bit of a walk. But we've got fast travel on the server. I'm admin, and I've installed a couple of command blocks that teleport us like 10,000 blocks in various different directions. So it allows us to separate themed areas by so great a distance that you never have to worry about someone building a medieval castle in view of your skyscraper, you know, or your cartoony builds next to someone's sci-fi stuff. So we've got even in the main area, our main continent, everybody seems to be pretty spaced out. Just courteous, I guess. Naturally courteous friends and server members. Reminds you of the How to Build a Minecraft Castle book. Alistair bought that book, I think, when he was first new to the game. Really interesting experience for him, having never played it before. He's into it now. I mean, he's very busy. I don't think he's had a chance to play lately. But his castle in Avalon, I believe, is that castle from the How to Build a Castle book in Minecraft. That's going to be a hard sell, because those books, like, there's so many YouTube videos that completely give you that information for free, you know? Hey! Trying to get through your woods. Everything does look spooky in the rain. I quite like it, actually. It's a cool vibe. When I'm not building. Walking through it is cool in Minecraft. Trying to build with it is not cool in Minecraft. We're going to be able to sleep here in a minute anyway. There's a bed inside this. This is the quote-unquote teleportation area. So you have a safe place to arrive in case you teleport at night or whatever. But yeah, so the command block is just down there. And that teleports us to the world hub. So there's the quote-unquote portals that we use to get around. There's two that go to the medieval area. There's one there, the blue one. There's a yellow one over there that goes to the 118 area. There's like a lush cave and that kind of stuff. And then the one that we're going to take, for once we're not going through the nether. We're actually just going to hop down here and take the cyan one, which takes you to the modern city. Ta-da. If I ever come back, or when I come back to work here, I want to get some custom textures and remove some of the stuff that doesn't look like modern textures, like doors. I want to make the doors look modern. You know, windows in them, stuff like that. So here's a little cafe that I was talking about. And it's odd on the outside, but it's even on the inside. There's like 6 across here. And then there's the mosaic. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, so we could have made it, you know, all glazed terracotta, but I thought that kind of looked more like Starbucks art. That kind of stuff. It would be really fun to come back and work here. It just feels so open and sunny and so different from the crowded medieval city that I've got. Stone. Excellent. Knew I had some. And by some, I mean all of it. Guess I might as well take an inventory worth as well, right? Makes sense. Frames don't do so well with shaders on with all the lights in here. It gets real choppy. Someone was commenting earlier that they really liked the stone mosaic that was in the ground in the parade square. I think it might have been you, Scotsman. Bird Dog, hello. How's it going? And I've got another mosaic that I did here. I think I showed this off recently. But this is the compass rose near the docks here. This was the first one I ever tried. So it's a little bit more simple because it's meant to be more modern. But you can see the anchor in the middle. And then the cardinal directions on the compass rose. And it is lit enough. Because back then, spawning was still a problem with the light levels. And so between the lights underneath there and the lights hidden in the... somewhere in here. I think it's underneath here. In the planters. Yeah. We've got spots for keeping it spawn free. And at nighttime, obviously the lights come on here, but if I go up to a balcony, I should take it in the elevators inside, I guess, but that's what it looks like from above, which is pretty cool. And on the map, of course, it's upside down, but a good idea there. That took a little while to design. I think I had to design it in Photoshop first. It's a really pretty area. It'd be nice to come back and work here again. And these are the in-game maps. Now you know why I like the map tool so much better, the mod, because it just gives you a better representation of what's going on. But you can't rotate it, which is unfortunate. Whereas here you can kind of rotate the maps to be kind of like how you would approach the city. But the colors are all off and you see all the lines and stuff. Bird Dog, doing well, thanks. We're just working on moving a tower, and I weirdly ran out of stone. So we just went for a run to get some more. If you're new to the channel, then this is the medieval area that I've been working on for about 2.5 years. For the longest time, it was only weekends. Like for the first year and a half, it was just like Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But about a year ago, I think I committed to being able to stream full-time. Makes sense. I think it was around my birthday last year. And so we do 4 days a week in Minecraft. Lego on Fridays, Satisfactory on Wednesdays, and I squeak in some extra Satisfactory from time to time when I do double headers. You know, I'll stream for 3 hours with one game, give myself a solid break, and then stream for another few hours. I am not doing a double header today. It's beautiful here, so I'm going to be going outside shortly to enjoy the rest of the day. I'm going to go to the gym, I think. Walk to the gym, work out, walk home. Nice day. Maybe even barbecue. The gym conveniently is next to the grocery store, so I will probably buy something for the barbecue after the gym, which is a dangerous idea because I'll be quite hungry by that point. So we'll see how that goes. It might be a very large steak. Now that I say that out loud, oh man. And I got sweet potato and asparagus at the market this morning too. Yeah, that might have to happen now. That might have to happen now. So we're going to see the full kind of width of this tower, I think, render in as we approach the town from down here. You making me want steak, Cal? Yeah, I have that effect on people. I do make people hungry. If you're following me on Instagram, you will be hungry. Yeah, that's nice and beefy. I like it. I don't know about the extra the little walls that we did on the other side, but that feels more like a keep in the middle of the town, if you ask me. The tower location is a little bit odd, but I'll live. And I guess it is a really good defensive position for like the road here, right? I don't know if we looked at what this looks like from the other side, but so here is the only thing, like, so stuff like this, I don't know what I would do to change this. The sign, this might move. You know, this might change. Well, this could also be a hanging sign in 1.20, right? So it's not so thick. But this is kind of where the tower comes out to now. This isn't the end of the world. This does not need to stay here. I wouldn't mind if this stayed. I'm not sure what I would do with it, but... right, so we have enough stone now to do the rest of that. I need just stone bricks, I guess. And andesite, that was the other thing I needed. And stairs, slabs, walls, and andesite. I don't go to the gym since Scotsman's UK, but there's one around the corner that has a Caspass ice cream shop next door. I think that's both dangerous and an awesome planning. I think so too. A bunch of people with a really good excuse to get some ice cream, right? I actually I quite like the convenience of having the gym next to the grocery store because for those of you that don't know, I mean I live in the city, but I don't have a car, and that's by design. I mean early on in my career, I couldn't afford one. I could have one now if I wanted one, but because I live in the city, I don't really need to worry about it. And so one of the things that's nice about that is obviously like it's nice green living, but my gym with the grocery store next door to it is fantastic because I killed two birds with one stone. Like I get groceries, I can go to the gym, work out, get groceries, walk home, like it's all done. Easy breezy, right? I mean, don't get me wrong. It's a 30-minute walk to the gym. So that's like what, 3.5K, 3.3 kilometers. So it's a little while. It takes me about half an hour. So I don't get a lot of heavy groceries because that's a pain to carry home over 30 minutes. But because I go so frequently, like I'm at the gym at least 3 times a week, if not 5. So it's nice that way. And I like to eat, so it balances out. Oh, right. This is this little part that we have to change. This thing is super tall. Very easy to fall off the stairs in here now. All right, where did we miss? Here. Now that we have this wider staircase, we can probably afford to have an actual stone floor up here. I mean, you really, even as a Minecraft player, you couldn't really shoot down there unless you stood on the very edge, which would be terrible, as an idea. So I would like the stairs to pop us out. Which is a better view? I think this way, right? Yeah, I kind of like this view. So this is where I'd want the stairs to come out. Whoops. Even still. Guess we have to go to there for now. I might want to actually push those back. I think it would be better to have a solid row of stone around at least this side and this side. That would probably be the better way to do it. So the stairs, instead of coming up here, the stairs will probably come up here. Right at that point there. Alright, so now we need to fill in another side. Oops. All the way down to the bottom, which is not what I wanted. Take it easy, Cosmic. Thank you ever so much for being here, as always. Appreciate it. Hope you enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Have some fun. Tell the folks I said hello. Time check. Thank you indeed. Sandy, appreciate it. Yep. I think I just want to get this filled in and then we'll wrap it up. Alright, I don't want to destroy that. I want that there. So many blocks. That's part of the old design, I guess. That's one way to get down. Hey, if we do this wide tower, maybe I don't have to deal with this ugly, weird staircase in the back now. That could be a nice advantage to the new design. So, as with anything in Minecraft, it takes a very long time when you're doing everything in survival. There was a bunch of different things we experimented with. It still needs some details, like windows, I think would be nice. The little slot windows like these ones, the ones that you do with stairs back to back. I think that would look good up there. I'm on the fence about doing something a little bit different with the battlement, but I don't want to block the view, so that could be something we mess with as well. Oop, there's a tree there. Yep, get to see it from all angles. Yeah, feels very... It's not quite a castle, you know, like it still has some heft to it. So here's where we may want to change the way that the top of this goes. And if I did this, I don't think I would do it that high. I might drop this by 1 block and do these 2 blocks at the bottom here, so that this would actually be a block and a half, or 2.5 blocks at the top to better balance out with that. That could be interesting. It'd be a nice way to cap off this stone brick if we decide to do that. Might make it a little bit more of an interesting shape as well. Last check, west approach. One nice thing about this town and the scale of it is that really it only takes one rocket to get from one side to the other, which is very convenient. So you cannot see it coming from the west, which is fine. I mean, like, I knew that that was a likelihood. Just a little bit over the top of the main hall until you get too close that you can't see it. Let's go up the main road, though. I mean, you're going to be looking the other way, so you're not going to see it until you turn around. And you can't even see it here. That's surprising, because it is not a short building. Yeah, I like that. I think that's good. Makes me wonder what I'm going to do with this building now. This little guy. Right there. That may or may not stay in that shape. Yeah, I'm not sure about these. These might go. I might opt for more andesite. I think the andesite needs to come up to about there. You know, like this kind of a thing. And maybe we'll work in some other blocks. We've got such a long side on the east side. It might be worth doing that gradient from like deep slate all the way up to like tough and cobble and all that stuff. I think I did that over here. Yeah, tough and cobble. A little bit of cobble there. And then on this big wall here, we did it as well. That could look cool on the bottom of that tower. Could help it out a lot. Polished andesite blocks as well as bricks too. So there's a lot of detail that's left to do. But overall, that feels way more keep-like, if you ask me, than what we had before with the really pointy spires and stuff. And actually, this is a nice view. We were up a little bit higher before, I guess. Yeah, I don't know if I like that little chunk out of it. I mean, it looks funny unless it's all the way around, but we'll be able to test it out. Yeah, this does feel a little bit strange. Interesting. Anyway, as the sun goes down, it might be a good spot to wrap things up. If you've enjoyed the stream, please leave a follow so that you can come back next time. I stream every day at 1 o'clock Atlantic, so I'll be back again tomorrow at 1 o'clock with more Minecraft. I may fit in a Satisfactory stream this weekend, so just keep an eye out on Twitter. It's at Joel Duggan, very easy to find. You can, of course, check out the Spunchunks podcast. If you're a Spunchunks member, we have a new recording of the Minecraft Hangout from today. That's done. That will be up soon. I imagine Johnny has probably sent me the recording. I didn't have time to publish it before I started streaming myself. We are going to pass you on to someone from the community celebrating a streamiversary. I am not mentioning who, although if they're lurking, they probably heard me already. Yeah, I'm going to mention it. They're gone. The Mighty Elkhorn is celebrating a long day of streaming because I think it's marking their streamiversary. So Elkhorn is a wonderful member of this community, one of my moderators. I think you will enjoy it. I believe they are either playing Minecraft Bingo. They might be on Infinity Cove, my patron server. But either way, it will be a good time. So be kind on your journey with Elkhorn. Check out the Citadel Cafe. Check out the Spunchunks. Thank you very much for anybody that subbed today, resubbed. I very much appreciate it. Outcast01, thanks for the raid. Again, very much appreciate the new eyeballs on the stream. Tell your friends. We're trying to grow the channel. The more eyeballs that watch this, the more content I can make and the more you get to consume. So if you like it, tell people to come and hang out and support if they can. I would very much appreciate it. You're all the best. I will see you tomorrow. Have a good Saturday. Bye for now.